Good morning. Welcome to our first lesson in the school year 2020-2021 from the simplified MELT-based budget of lessons in oral communication. At the end of the lesson, you are expected to explain the process of communication. So let's begin our lesson. What can you say about the pictures? What did you observe? What were they doing? You're right. They are talking to each other. They are having a conversation. Communication is about two people talking, such as with a sibling, with a parent, with a teacher, or a friend. It's a face-to-face in real life or even via internet. It is also a group of people talking with one another to solve a problem, for example, discussing with classmates about how a report should be done, even buying a snack from a vendor outside your house or outside the school campus is considered communication. Communication is a dynamic process that begins with the conceptualizing of ideas by the sender, who transmits the message through a channel to the receiver, who in turn gives the feedback in the form of sound message or signal within the given time frame. This then means that the elements of communication are essential in the process of communication. Number one, the sender. The sender or the speaker, who is the person who initiates the conversation and has conceptualized the idea that intends to convey it to others. The sender begins with the encoding process wherein he uses certain words or non-verbal methods such as symbols, signs, body gestures to translate the information into a message. Second, the message. Once the encoding is finished, the sender gets the message that he intends to convey. The message can be written, oral, symbolic, or non-verbal, such as body gestures, silence, sighs, or sounds, or any other signal that triggers the response of a receiver. Third, the listener. The listener who receives the message. It is said that even if the speaker is great and the message is beautiful, if there is no listener, the listener is not paying attention, then communication fails. Fourth, the channel. The channels are the means by which the message is sent. The choice of medium depends on the interpersonal relationships between the sender and the receiver, and also on the urgency of the message being sent. Next is the response. The response is the only way the speaker knows that the message has been received. Whether the listener responds or not is central to the communication process. The response is, of course, based on the interpretation of the message by the listener. Next is the feedback. The feedback is the final step of the process that ensures the receiver has received the message and interpreted it correctly as it was intended by the sender. It increases the effectiveness of the communication as it permits the sender to know the efficacy of his message. The response of the receiver can be verbal or non-verbal. There you have it, class. That is the process of communication. And now, let us proceed to the activities. Your first activity, activity number 1, is to mention the elements of communication. You have to list them down and you have to define each of the elements. You may now begin. Congratulations! You are done with activity number 1. Since you already knew the elements of communication, let us now proceed to activity number 2. In activity number 2, all you have to do is to look for a person at your home or at your house. It could be your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your niece, or your nephew, where you can talk to. Then, you talk about the disadvantages of COVID-19. Make sure that you are on camera, or I could see you while you are talking to each other with the disadvantages of COVID-19. So, I can assess the communication process that you are doing. Congratulations again! You're done with activity number 2. So now, we're ready with activity number 3. In activity number 3, all you have to do is to differentiate the speaker from the listener. Then, be able to explain if is there an instance that the speaker becomes the listener and the listener becomes the speaker. Congratulations! You're done with activity number 3. And now, we are down to the last part, the activity number 4. In this activity, all you have to do is to make an illustration or a diagram that shows the process of communication. Make sure that the 5 basic elements of communication are present. Congratulations, class! We're done with the 4 activities. And now, we are now ready for our evaluation. In the evaluation, you have to explain the process of communication. Be guided with the rubrics of explaining the process of communication. Good luck. At last, you're done with the evaluation class. My congratulations to you all. For submission of your outputs, you may send them through my Gmail account, abrilioRomualdoJr@gmail.com, all in small letters. Or you can also send it to me through my messenger. There you go. We're done with our lesson. I hope you did enjoy our lesson for today, class. Prepare for the next lesson, which is the functions of communication. See you again. Goodbye.